I am not the biggest fan of the sequel trilogy, but it's not because of political ideals or because they somehow disrespected the legacy of the original trilogy. I don't like the movies very much because they aren't that interesting. I feel like The Force Awakens was just a marketing masterpiece that fed off of nostalgia and mysteries to reignite the Star Wars fanbase, and it did that spectacularly. But I think it failed creatively. They took a similar formula, similar character tropes, and reset the galaxy to recreate the Rebels vs. Empire story that felt unoriginal and boring. The Force Awakens is my least favorite Star Wars movie by a lot. While I respect The Last Jedi for trying to be different, I don't think it was a great movie because the struggles of the characters felt mostly meaningless, and the payoffs for the adventure was very underwhelming. It kinda felt like a filler arc mixed with some really good moments. Finally, there's The Rise of Skywalker, which is still not the greatest Star Wars movie, but I liked it much better than the other two. It was fun, it felt different and interesting enough, and more creative than its predecessors. But there was one unforgivable thing that made the movie creatively bankrupt, and I wish they had taken the risk of doing this, but they went safe again, and I was very disappointed. Hey everyone, I'm Wheeze, welcome to KBW. Thanks for clicking on this video. Before I continue, I'm interested in if I should continue to make Star Wars content frequently, seeing as anime is my main focus, and I don't know how much these two fandoms cross over. I suppose I will see by how many views this gets, but I would like to just talk about whatever I feel like, so hopefully my insights are interesting, even if you aren't the most interested in the material. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I will consider your suggestions. Anyway, that's that. On with the video. Having struggles and overcoming it is what stories are made of. A man inheriting a lot of money from his father, living comfortably and enjoying a good relationship with his spouse is not a good story, even if it is a plausible event to happen in real life. The more the character struggles, the better. The more bad things happen to them, the better. Characters who always do the right things without questioning their morals or having temptation to do the wrong thing are very boring, which is why villains are often much more popular than the heroes. And sometimes, the villain is the only character worth watching. Kylo Ren is, in my opinion, one of the best characters in all of Star Wars. His journey and struggle are interesting, his conflict is apparent and real, and the things he goes through are understandable and even relatable. He is a very human character, and his desires show this. He wants acceptance from his family, but he is also pulling away from that. When he kills his father to kill his past and embrace his new identity, he feels horrible. It doesn't help him at all. Then he goes even further and rejects all of his past, deciding he will create his new future and live up to his family heritage, before realizing acceptance from his family is really the only thing he wanted, and this dark path he is on leads to nothing but failure. He is conflicted throughout the entire story, and that makes him a fantastic character. I will admit that Adam Driver's performance is a huge part of what makes Kylo Ren such a compelling character. He is a complete contrast to the main heroes that fight for good and kinda wanna run away, but end up not running away. Yeah. Back to my main point. The main problem I have with episode 9 is with the ending. Kylo and Rey team up to finally finish off Palpatine once and for all, which is a so-so plot point. Not a huge complaint for me, but it wasn't amazing. And then Rey finally defeats Palpatine, but dies in the process. That leads to Kylo finding her and using the life transfer healing thing that saves her and kills Kylo. He's technically Ben at this point, but I'm still just gonna call him Kylo. I understand the selfless act thing. It was the same with Darth Vader, where he sacrificed himself to save his son, and Kylo sacrificed himself to save Rey. But honestly, this is the most uninteresting, horrible thing they did. I suppose this is meant to be the last movie and all that, but imagine if Rey had died and Kylo had lived. They could have both lived, but having Rey sacrifice herself and then Kylo having to keep living on after all he did and carry the legacy of the Jedi that she was supposed to continue in her honor, not only does that give Rey an interesting legacy, it also makes for an incredible world for the future of Star Wars. Kylo will now have to make up for his mistakes instead of just dying, and he can't give up or he is letting down the now dead Rey. With his understanding of the dark side, he can teach the next generation to guard properly against it, and he will have to win the trust of those he fought so mercilessly against. Not to mention living the rest of his life knowing all the atrocities he had committed, including killing his father. This is so interesting, and maybe it's just because I like Kylo Ren so much more than Rey and find her so boring, but there is a lot more drama drama and good lessons for making up past mistakes than just, I'm good now, so I suicide sacrifice my life to be redeemed and done. And this isn't just my desire, it's good storytelling. Because another big franchise also owned by Disney did the same thing. In Avengers Endgame, Hawkeye and Black Widow go to retrieve the Mind Stone. One must die for the other to get it. They have been best friends for a long time, so they sacrificially try to jump off the cliff to save the other. They fight to stop each other from jumping until Black Widow is successful and Hawkeye is left alive. Previously in the story, Black Widow had been working to help the remaining population, doing what she could after Thanos won, and Hawkeye had been going around murdering people after his family died. Hawkeye doesn't want to face his family again after what he had done. He even says, "Don't give me hope," when he is recruited to go back in time. Black Widow has been clean for a long time and spent the last several years doing only good, and is one of the most reliable Avengers. Who is more interesting? The one who survived, the one who has the most struggle. I could have left the theater thinking about the strong storytelling and potential of Kylo Ren's character, but instead we got a cliche fairy tale ending that didn't feel interesting or satisfying. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've been working on becoming an author since I was very young, and I've been fascinated with story for a long time. I really enjoy analyzing stories like this, so if there's a movie or TV show you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. I could go on for a while about all the things I dislike and like about the sequel trilogy, so if you would like to hear my thoughts on how I would change the story, or just analysis of the entire trilogy, again, let me know. I mainly focus on anime, but I don't want to be stuck in only one area, so sometimes I'm going to make videos like this. Subscribe if you want more content like this, especially if you're interested in anime, and like the video if you enjoyed it. That's it for me. Go watch the rest of my channel and share this with all your friends, and make me super popular so I can take over the world. That'd be great. Jam meow.